Welcome back to my channel. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you. Welcome back. On today's tutorial, these are the things we are going to be needing. You're going to be needing this fan, and this is the base for this fan that we actually want to make. I don't know what they call it. It's a plastic fan, and I get this from the market. You're going to be needing this. You can get this from those selling instruments for handymen. You're going to be needing trimmings. Yes, these trimmings can be gotten from the market. This applique as well. If I'm sounding somehow, I'm very sorry. I had my tooth extracted, my wisdom tooth. So you're going to be needing this alphabet, your tape rule. I'm not really sure, but then I'm just keeping it in case. You're going to be needing your interfacing. This they call Applique in my country. I don't know what they call it in your country, but you can see how thick this is. You're going to be needing your scissors, your Asooke, which is one of the main stars of the day. You're going to be needing your plumbing pipe. Yes, craft is very funny. Your plumbing pipe. Yes, this as well. I'm just going to be keeping it in case I eventually need it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be needing it. Also, your candle gum. You need this, please. You need this. So let's get into the tutorial properly. The very first thing I want to do is we're going to be putting gums on each stick of this fan right here. The reason why I'm placing it on the table is to help guide me so it forms the perfect semicircle, so it doesn't become too small or too big. But you can go ahead and just hold it in your hands like this and do that. After doing this, the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'll be taking my candle gum and I'll be using it to seal it in place. So I'm just taking my candle gum and I'm applying it in between each stick. Then I'll go ahead and allow the candle gum to dry properly. Once this is dry, you have something like this. Can you see it is properly secured? Now the next thing we're working with is with this our Applique. Apply gum on each stick of the skeleton. You are going to place it on your Applique like this. Now in placing it, ensure that there is allowance at every side right here, so far as you want it to be bigger than this skeleton. So once that is done, you are going to go ahead, take your scissors. For the end part right here, you are going to be cutting out the exact size of the skeleton. But for this side right here, you're not going to be cutting out the exact side. You can go ahead and measure it if you want, but I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to go ahead and use my eyes to measure what I want. So I'll just go ahead and do this. Can you see I'm not cutting the exact size of our skeleton? I've taken it up like, let's say like 1.5 inches. It depends on the size that you're going for. This is what you are going to have. I'm going to go ahead and put gum on my stick, this size right here. And then place it on it like so. After placing it, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. We have something like this, but we are not going to stay here because I mean look at it, it's not that strong, right? So we are going to be doubling this again. It's not just going to be like this. We are going to put another layer of Asooke on this and also this. So in total we are going to have 1 2 3 4. Now you should have something like this. Can you see that it is now quite thick and we have 4 layers? The next thing we want to do is we're going to be cutting out the hole for our handle right here. What I love to do to make it equal and even is to use my tape rule, maybe because I know I have an idea of tailoring, so I like my distance being accurate. So this is around 19.5. I'm just going to be dividing it into 2 and make that part the mid part of my fan. So this is it. Now you can actually just use your free hand, please. So from here, I'm going to be taking out the measurement that I want. If you want to cut out 3 inches, if you want to cut out 4 inches, whatever you want to cut out, you can do that from this, your mid part. This is it. I'm going to be making use of my cutter because of this thick sticks right here. So I'll use this to cut it like so, and then do this to this other side too, and then from there my scissors should be able to do the rest. Now you should have something like this, so you can go ahead, trim out the excesses by this side, and then apply gum on places that the gum did not hold. The next thing we want to work with is our pipe, and I'm just going to go ahead and measure what I want out by placing this on it like so. So in total I'm going to be making use of 12 inches. I'm going to be cutting out the 12 inches that I marked. So we are going to be having this. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be making holes into the end of this pipe so I can just insert it into our base. So I'll hold it like so. Use my scissors to cut it open. This does not have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and try and see if I can insert my pipe into, so it's not possible quite yet. So I'm going to make deeper holes to ensure that it accommodates it. I'm going to be inserting this pipe into it like so, and then bring this one here as well and insert my skeleton into it. After inserting it, we have something like this. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a whole lot of gum to hold this in place so it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just going to be putting gum. If you have a fan, at this point you want your fan to be on so that it dries on time. So far this is what we have. So what I'm just going to be doing is I'm going to be wrapping this handle right here with this satin ribbon. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to be cutting this into pieces, and you will see what I'll use it to do just now. So I'm just going to put it like this, and then I'll place it like so. So nobody sees our dirty little secrets. Now this is what we have. Can you see? This is looking good. The next thing we are going to be working with is our Asooke. When I want to place fabric, I don't use my candle gum because it gives it a bump that I do not like. I use my fabric gum. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be applying my fabric gum. I will allow it to dry a little before placing whatever fabric I'm working with on it. Once it is a little bit dry, the next thing you want to do is place your fabric like so on it. Now for this first layer, we are not going to be cutting out the exact size of our fan. We are going to be cutting it out with allowance by the side. For this part with O, I'm not going to be cutting out the exact shape as well. I'm going to be cutting out excess. So for this part that the Asooke couldn't cover, I'm going to go ahead and apply gum. I'll put a little bit of gum on the Asooke, just the tip. Then I will allow it dry a little. Once it's a little bit dry, I'll go ahead and place our Asooke on it like so. So you will see that the Asooke that I'm placing here is actually the I don't know, is it the selvage or what they call this part? Because peradventure it shows. I'm going to flip it over and trim it off. Now we have this. The next thing we want to do is we are going to be applying gum and we are going to be placing the Asooke over like so. Do you understand? So I'm just going to be using my candle gum for that. And then I'll start putting it over like this. For this place right here, we are going to be making notches so that it can easily relax. Look at this. This is what we have. Now the next thing we want to do is to cover this part as well. And guess what? We're going to be using our Asooke. So just like we did for the first one, we are going to be applying fabric gum. I'm going to apply fabric gum in the mid part like so. After applying it, I'm going to allow it to dampen, that is dry a little, before placing it on it. For this part right here, I'm going to be cutting it out. We don't need it. So far, this is what we have. See how clean the base is now. See how Lois-A stitches and crafts. Well done, no. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this our trimmings. Round it first. what it looks like after I put this other trimming. So I decided at this from the style I noticed I didn't have the trimmings here, so I actually changed this whole part because it was already rough because of the gum. So I just put it here, and now I've gone ahead to start putting the applique on this one here as well. So what I'm just doing is I'm not putting the gum on the fabric itself because candle gum tends to leave white stain when dried. What I'm doing is I'm applying the candle on this part of the trimmings. I'm not putting it on the fabric to avoid white stains. So I'll continue doing this until I get to this other end. This is what I have after. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the remaining part off, and you have this. So this is the next thing we're going to be putting on the fan, but we're not going to be putting it on it like this. We're going to be cutting it into pieces, and we're going to be placing it around it like so. So I'll just take my scissors and then I'm going to be trimming it out. Cutting it into pieces, you are going to have something like this, and I've gone ahead to arrange it the way I want it to be arranged. So if you want to place your applique or whatever trimmings on anything, it's best to first arranging it before tacking it down or gumming it down, just making it permanent so you know what it looks like. So after several trials, I decided I was going to go with the way this is arranged, and then I'll go ahead and start using my gum to secure everything together. Now we have something like this. We are almost done. The next thing we want to do is we want to put our alphabet on it, and this is how the alphabet comes. You see that I've removed some parts, and also I've removed what I want to put on my bright fan. So I'm just going to arrange it just like I said for this one. First arrange whatever you want to put and look at what it looks like before you make it permanent. Once I'm sure I'm okay with what I have, I will go ahead and use whatever gum I'm using to secure it in place. Look at this beauty that we have. So I'm still going to go ahead. Last thing I'm going to be doing for this front part right here is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to be removing the sequence from this our trimmings, and I'm going to be putting it, or better still, I'm going to be using stones on it, and I'll be doing that with my fabric gum instead of my candle gum. And that is it. That is just everything for this our luxury bridal fan. For the back, I don't know, it does not really have anything. It's just going to be plain like this. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and also turn on the notification button so you get notified when I post a new video. Bye.